live long and prosper.
I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Shut up and take my money.
By Grabthar's hammer, what a saving.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
X never, ever marks the spot.
Winter is coming.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Stay a while and listen.
Hey ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Bow ties are cool.
So say we all.
This is a Play on Nerds. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls of all ages, to episode 219 of A Play on Nerds. These titles are getting longer and longer as these numbers get bigger. I don't know. We're just going to reset to one at some point. It's easier that way. But until that point, I'm Steve. This other guy is
Jarman.
And we're here to talk nerdy stuff of all types. And this day, we are here to honor two upcoming pieces of media, Minecraft and Season 2 of The Last of Us. We're exploring another classic video game that made the leap into other media and just a firestorm of films. Like 15 films, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of them. We honor a very special rule of three, Resident Evil Extinction.
And it has the zombie connection to Last of Us.
And Minecraft kind of has zombie things.
That's true.
Is that right?
It does.
So I think it all kind of connects together.
We're so smart.
But until that brilliance, Jarman, what have you been up to since the last time we talked?
Well, I wrote a show for our local Fringe Festival, and producing it goes up in a month and a half, which is kind of scary. But I just finished casting it. Which was a fun process. I've never held auditions for kids before, so I had to have a middle school age kid in this show, and so my wife got in contact with a local woman who trains kids in acting and stuff like that. So she had like a whole stable of acting kids that take her courses after school and workshops and that kind of thing. And so we had tons of auditions sent in, like with nice professional self-tape videos and everything with these kids auditioning for the show. And they were so adorable. Most of it was so funny. And the funniest part was supposed to be a kid who can play the ages of 9 to 13. And we did get a couple of like, one guy was in his car and he's got a beard growing. And I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, you're too old for this role. I put 9 to 13 and he even used like an upper register voice for the audition. I'm like, I can see the beard growing on your face. So yeah, that was amusing, but we found two great kids because we're going to do one understudy, one main role, just because kids, they recommend doing that because kids have, schedules that go all over the place and they get sick and that kind of thing. So, and we have an adult actress and then me, I'm going to be on the show. I wasn't going to initially, but we it worked out that way where we just didn't get the auditions that felt right for the role. And we're just going to have my wife direct the show because she's directed kids for 10 years now in school productions. And she has experience to do that directing part. And I can just produce and I did the writing part. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good show.
Wow.
Yeah.
You fringing it up.
Fringing it up. And my latest audiobook I'm recording right now is called Lessons with the Mothman. And I get to play a Mothman. One of my childhood dreams come true.
Just a Mothman.
Yeah.
Not the Mothman.
Exactly.
No one's that famous.
This is where it's revealed that it's a race of monsters. But monsters aren't bad in this universe. They're actually very sexy. And they have liaisons with
sexy
humans.
Monsters.
He's a sexy Mothman. He has a British accent. It's a lot of fun to play. I've done a couple of these books already because it's all part of the Monster Smash Agency series of books, where it's basically a prostitute agency where basically you can go and hire the services of a monster to have sex with. And so the first book was Games with the Orc, and I played a macho orc named Kel, and he was very serious. And then the second book was The Gargoyle named Rafe, and he's like, hey guys, I'm this gargoyle. I'm a lot of fun to hang out with. And now it's the Mothman. So it's book 3. They're a lot of fun. I love how we have Steven's cameras just zooming in on his face.
I don't know what it's doing.
So Steven got a new computer, and
Jarman's
the camera's
been
just
talking, And my camera has just been I think it's this. I think it doesn't know how
Your microphone.
to interpret this. And so it's just changing the angle repeatedly.
So as I'm talking about orc sex, it's just slowly zooming in on his face and he's smiling as I say it. It's freaking me out,
I
man.
was excited about orc sex.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to, Steve?
Well, our car was in the shop for a while, so that was exciting. Got the door replaced. But we've been productive. We cleaned out 2/3 of our garage.
Nice.
Rearranged our pantry. I fixed a couple shelves. And we finally had some decent weather, so we are starting to deal with, we've got this 4-foot patch of land on one side of our garage. That it just looks junky, and we were just done with it. So over the course of 2 separate work days, we put down, we weeded it and got out all the grass, and we put pebbles down and then pavers, and then we filled in gaps with rocks.
Nice.
And did end cap things.
It's a lot of work.
Now we're gonna, yeah, man, it was brutal for a couple days. But now we're done. And so now we have a nice run on one side of our garage where we're going to put some planters and make it usable space.
Absolutely. I know that could be hard, like making that garage clean out by itself is difficult. I still haven't done that with my garage. It's terrible.
Well, it's just all this stuff that we moved in. We're like, it's good right now.
Exactly.
That's what mine is too. Okay, we got to stop. This is awful.
There's too much crap in there that we'll deal with later. We have to deal with now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well,
but yeah, just kind of being productive.
Very domestic of you. I like it. It's great.
Quite.
But I think that
takes us to
nerdy
news.
Zoom in.
It's time for Nerdy News.
Yeah, this just loves that.
All right, in honor of our theme of Resident Evil, my news story is called Will Milla Jovovich Save Us? I don't know. Let's find out. So, Cortical Labs, which is the same company that's trying to de-extinct the woolly mammoth you've probably heard about in the news. This is the big company that's been doing this pretty successfully, have created the world's first computer that combines a silicon processor that we normally are used to with human brain cells. And they're calling it the CL1, or the Cortical Labs 1. And it has human neurons in a life support system to keep them alive, integrated with computer processors. So when it's fed input from cameras or other data input devices, it responds just like a human brain would. And the first thing they said it will easily accomplish is eliminating the need to test animals for human brain experiments. So things they would normally test on animals first before humans, they don't have to do that now, which would be pretty cool. But they also say it'll eventually speed up machine learning in the future. And there's possible prospects of using human brain technology as computing systems instead of actual, devices. And right now it only costs $35,000 to make one of these little computers. Just you get 2 of them. Why not? But it's totally not worrisome at all. It won't create any computer zombie cyborgs that kill all of us that Milla Jovovich has to save us from. Totally isn't going to happen.
She saved the world from a lot of weird stuff.
It's true. From several different
this
franchises.
Sounds like some Johnny Mnemonic stuff to me.
That's true. That little chip in his head. I forgot all about that movie.
Brain power and megabytes.
Was that Keanu Reeves or Johnny Depp? I can't remember.
I don't know. It's feeling also Matrixy to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Matrix is really about. The humans aren't making the electricity. They're the processing power.
That's what we are. We're just a system of energy for the crazy
disk of RAM, baby.
AI creatures. So there you go. I hope she saves us.
Well, I, for one, welcome our AI overlords.
Absolutely. What do we got to lose? Everything's going down the shitter anyway. So that brings us to our main segment.
Speaking of which,
what is our main segment, Steve?
We're talking about Rule of 3, Resident Evil Extinction. Get a brief recap of kind of the happenings of the first 2 movies. The T-virus was accidentally / on purpose released. In the first movie, it became about confining it to an office building, which failed. The second movie was about confining it to a city, which failed. And now we get to see the terrible repercussions of that failure. We start with Alice waking up, played by Milla Jovovich. I've got to plug it for Jarman.
Yeah.
Waking up in a shower. She gets dressed, wanders an empty mansion. She finds a long hallway, but it's filled with deadly lasers that she narrowly escapes.
From the second movie.
She almost makes it to the exit, but she is nearly cut in twain, I wrote, by a huge guillotine-style blade. She then steps on another trap, which causes a thing to launch up and launch shrapnel or nails, and she's killed. A scientist walked in. He's very disappointed. He sends men to dispose of the body. It turns out they're in an underground facility, not in a mansion, and Alice is a clone. Whoa. She's dumped onto a body of other Alices, a pile of other Alice bodies, and they pull out to show that zombies rule the land. We catch up with real Alice, who is now the Road Warrior from Road Warrior. She starts responding to a distress call on the radio, but it's a trap by a cannibal hillbilly family. She kicks one of them to death almost immediately. She's thrown into a pit with zombie dogs, but she just murders them too, or causes them to murder their masters. It's real good. And escapes her bond, and she kills them all. We cut to a convoy of vehicles bustling across the wasteland. It's it's sort of like an entourage of kids and a mishmash of lovable characters in a convoy. We'll get to know all of them a little bit more later, and then they all die.
Spoilers.
Meanwhile, in an underground facility, bad men discuss the end of the world. An evil scientist, he needs Alice's blood to reverse the virus, and even talks about domesticating the zombies. But the board of evil men is growing impatient with the evil doctor in running out of time. Alice is on the move again. She ignores the calls of help from the caravan from earlier. The caravan stops at a motel to scavenge what supplies they can and rest up. They clear a building, but Omar Epps LJ, who is from prior movies, is secretly bitten. The others set up camp and set a digital perimeter. Elsewhere, evil Dr. Isaacs is trying to rein in zombies and domesticate them. It goes okay as they inject a zombie with weird fluid, but then the zombie gets mad at a puzzle and kills everyone. The doctor narrowly escapes. Alice finds a dead man's journal. Inside, there are signs and notes pointing to some sort of safe zone. So now she has her heading. But evil crows are on the way. I love that I got to write that sentence. The convoy is attacked by zombie birds that, because they've been feeding off of the dead bodies, have become zombies themselves. It doesn't sound super scary, but it's probably the scariest thing in this movie. It's honestly pretty terrifying. The convoy makes a run for it, but one of the vehicles gets stuck. The bus hits a pole and they have to rush to save the children. Otto and Ashanti are killed, buying them time, trying to stop the birds. Just as two of them are about to get fried by a flamethrower gone amok, Alice shows up and, using mind powers, redirects the blaze and takes out the crows. Elsewhere, the evil doctor senses this disturbance, and Alice is caught on satellite. The convoy decides to hit Vegas, hoping that there might be some supplies remaining there and some gasoline to get them to the safe zone. But LJ is still hiding his bite, but I'm sure that's definitely going to be fine, maybe. Vegas has begun to be swallowed up by the desert. As they arrive, a mysterious crate awaits the group, and it's filled with super zombies that are just right where they need to be. The group is besieged. Many people die. LJ turns at the most inopportune moment that he could. The doctor locks onto a chip or something in Alice's brain and tries to shut her down by satellite, which only works momentarily until she overcomes it with almost no effort and no time. She breaks out of her like mental prison and goes to trace down Dr. Isaacs, who barely escapes, but he gets bitten. He goes back to his lab, starts injecting himself with Windex and some other shit.
Bleach.
And he becomes an abomination. The remaining survivors find the location of the underground base, but one of them has been bitten. And he offers to clear a path for them by crashing the tanker truck through the hordes and then blowing it up. There's like sad goodbyes, but then he does this and it blows up and he gets to smoke a joint. It's a real good moment. The others break into the facility. Allie Larder and a few survivors take the helicopter, but Alice has to go in after Dr. Isaacs. Alice goes in. She meets the AI that runs the facility, that its goal is to contain Dr. Isaacs. And so now they're working together.
Yeah.
It's weird. Alice finds all of her clothes in the mansion where all of this began. Her and Isaacs face off. She gets choked out, but then she used psychokinetic abilities and fends off Isaacs. He throws her through a friggin' wall, and they're in the Hall of Lasers, and it gets enabled, and it cuts him into a dozen pieces, stopping him just short of Alice. Elsewhere, bad men discuss plans for the end of the world around a table, and Alice shows up via hologram. She's like, I'm coming for you, and I've got help. And then there's her clone with her, and they go and they wake up all the other clones. And I think almost all of them are killed terribly in the next film, if I remember correctly.
Probably.
So that was Resident Evil Extinction, which I know I had definitely seen before.
I had as well. I've seen all of them, I think.
Wow, that's dedication. Some of the new ones are pretty new.
I haven't seen the ones without Milla Jovovich. Like they did like a reboot TV show, and
that one was okay.
I heard it was all right. It was more faithful
Raccoon
to the video game
City or whatever. Yeah, it was all right.
Just didn't quite make it.
Sir, what did you like about this movie?
Well, I thought
some good things.
I mean, maybe it's the nostalgia of like you and I were the right age for this movie when it came out. Like, God, I don't know, it was 2005, something like 7, something like that, and it was just fun, silly action movie it felt like a video game in the sense that there's like levels they had to beat, and then there's the final boss at the end. You know, like it had the right formula for being silly and fun action movie. Milla Jovovich kicking some ass. I love that, no matter how schlocky it is, and usually it's pretty schlocky. She just had one come out that we reviewed the trailer for that looks like it's probably going to be terrible. But there's a lot of good practical zombie effects, which was pretty cool. Some of the real crow effects were pretty neat. And there's this iconic shot from this that Steven mentioned of Alice coming in and creating this firestorm that kills all the crows. I think that looked pretty darn good, actually. It was pretty cool. And then, of course, I thought Ian Glenn, who was in Game of Thrones, he played the Khaleesi guy. Khaleesi, I love you, Khaleesi. He was great as Dr. Isaacs. I think he was fantastic. So those are my likes.
He was definitely a shining.
Yeah.
In a movie with a lot of people. A lot of people in this movie. Yeah, I agree. Some things I thought it had like a really surprisingly good cast.
Yeah.
You get like Milla Jovovich, sci-fi royalty, Allie Larder from Heroes, who also has been like 1,000 million things.
Oh yeah.
Oded Fehr from the Mummy franchise.
And he was just in the new Star Trek as well. So that's pretty cool.
Lyndon Ashby from Mortal Kombat, who played Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Longtime working funny man Joe Hersley as Otto. Ian Glenn, as you mentioned, from Game of Thrones. And then the most prestigious, Ashanti from Muppet Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yes. Her acting stood out so well in this film.
But beside that last joke one, really a very solid surrounding cast.
Yeah.
That they put into this thing.
Absolutely.
And you almost care when some of them die.
Almost.
You nearly care a few times.
But I'll get into that when I talk about some dislikes.
But otherwise, like the music was good and the soundscaping stuff was good.
Yeah.
when they were doing all the satellite stuff, it and transitioning so quickly, it kind of made me realize how much this movie was relying on sound to like drive everything.
That's true. And saving money by not showing the full descent into the underground base. They kind of go into that 3D imaging kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and the effects were okay.
They're all right.
The digital stuff was what it was at the time for the budget they clearly had.
Some digital effects these days are worse.
Choices.
So.
Yeah. They made some good practical choices.
Mm.
Some good practical zombie effects in there.
Not a ton, but some good ones. Yeah.
Some. It said some. But yeah, I mean, okay. Let's get into dislikes.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it doesn't feel like the original game series at all, like unrecognizable except for the zombies, because it was just so bright and punchy and like an action movie and not scary or creepy barely at all. Like maybe 2 points in the whole movie was it at all scary and creepy, which is the whole thing. It's supposed to be really, the whole game series was very creepy and jump scares. It's more of a horror movie. And none of these movies in these series were horror movies. They were all action-packed, kick-em-ass zombie movies, But this one was in the daylight the whole time. It didn't feel at all.
I feel like they had to kind of do that. Like this was a train that left the station at that point where, the first one did have some of that creepy stuff, some of that close quarters stuff. But what people latched onto was Milla Jovovich doing flips and shit. And so the next one we're like, we'll find more excuses for her to do flips and shit. And this one was like, all right, this is a movie where Milla Jovovich does flips and shit.
In the daylight.
And with knives and kukris and shit. It's going to be great. But the other thing I think this movie suffers from is there's just, I love the secondary characters, but there were too many of them with too little time.
Yes.
Given.
I wrote that too. Like you just don't care about them enough before they're dead.
Didn't care about Ashanti. Didn't care about the blonde guy who ran the radio. Didn't care about Johnny Cage. Like Allie Larder and the Kmart girl had their like development where that's where we found her, blah, blah, blah. And like they each had their little moment, but then like Otto didn't have anything.
And like Omar Epps was like immediately bitten. So you can't care about him at all because he's already immediately bitten before you even care. Like,
well, they were banking on us caring about him having been in the last film.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. I forgot about that. I thought the fight scenes weren't very good. Especially because Resident Evil is a shooter game, technically, and Milla Jovovich as Alice, like you said, is just kicking and punching people and using her silly knives when she has all these guns on her. I think she shot twice in the whole movie. Like she
uses those kukris a lot, man.
I know, it's like you have guns right there. Help people who are dying far away from you. Save them before they die. And she's like, no, I got my kukris. I'm good.
Well, the other thing so when they go to Vegas and that like box of zombies is there, it became very clear that they didn't know what the rules with killing zombies were.
Yeah.
Because are they zombies? Do you have to shoot them in the head? There were a lot of times that they were just shooting them in the body and the zombies were going down.
Not really, though. They're kind of just like the one time Allie Larder like unloads a whole clip into their body and it doesn't affect the zombie at all. It's like, what are you doing?
But think about this. We're in a world where these people are the best survivors. They've made it this far and they don't shoot them in the head then, if that's the thing.
And she's playing Claire Redfield, which is like a main character in the series. Like that was Allie Larder's character.
But otherwise, like there must have been like 90 dudes in that tanker. With how many of them they kill, there had to have been like 80 guys in there.
It's like a clown car in the thing.
Like a clown car of zombies.
Just shoved to the brim.
Yeah, they're on top of each other. Those guys really laying flat.
It was a puzzle they couldn't solve, so they got really pissed off.
That's right. Yeah, they're all in there with one of those
solving the puzzles.
And they all get mad at the exact same moment. Freak the hell out.
It was timed perfectly.
But this movie, has, you're right, it has a nostalgia factor to it. it feels like the time period it came out in.
Yeah.
You just feel it. But you could probably skip it and be okay.
I feel like now that we're getting farther away from I guess they called them the aughts, or the 2000s, and the 2010s is the aughts. I don't remember, but
I don't care.
But like now they're getting past that, we can feel what a 2000s movie feels like better than we could when we were closer to it. And this is what a 2000s movie feels like. It's just like the slickness and the like techno beat music that comes in, like, as it was playing off the Matrix that lasted for several years after the Matrix. It's just very much
for me. It's always, is there a female R&B singer shoved in there somewhere
with the techno? Yes? Yeah.
Is there a person of color comedian in there?
That always happens.
All right, there we go. We're good.
Maybe a rap soundtrack over the credits. You know, that happens a lot.
Yes.
Well, so yeah, you don't have to get this one. You can, if you're watching the whole series, you know, watch it. It's fun. It's fine. Some trivia for this film. It was not screened for critics, most likely due to the overwhelmingly negative reviews from critics for the first two films. Claire Renfield in the video games is in a never-ending search for her brother Chris, which is a big part of the games. And when the main plot of the film was planned, the original purpose of the trip to Alaska that they do at the end was going to be the reunion of Claire with her brother Chris. And the Chris Renfield subplot was scrapped, and the voyage to Alaska was rewritten as a simple quest for a safe haven of some sort. And Chris Renfield was going to be played by, I'm forgetting his name now, from Supernatural and The Boys.
I can see him in my head.
Jensen Ackles, that's his name. But it never happened. Director Russell Mulcahy's chief insistence with this film, and its big point of difference over its predecessors, was that it be shot not at night, but in the blazing sunshine. So that was his idea, to be like, this is not going to be a night movie this time. It's going to be in the light. Milla Jovovich wasn't interested in doing a third Resident Evil film due to her disappointment with Resident Evil Apocalypse, the second movie. However, she changed her mind after reading the script. I don't know why, but this script apparently was good enough to make her like, oh, I'm coming back. That's going to be an Oscar winner right there. Early storyboards of the film reveal a very different versions of scenes with the Alice clones, like dozens of them inside some cocoons and not pods, one of them falling out of one to the ground and encountering unseen creatures in some giant laboratory. These were probably made based on first scripts which did not have the umbrella making Alice clones go through traps inside their underground labs, as they do in the film. And it's possible this is one of the changes demanded by Milla Jovovich, since she revealed in interviews how originally Paul W.S. Anderson was going to have Alice turn into some kind of half monster, but she disliked the idea. Changing the scenes with the clones was probably another of Jovovich's demands, because scenes would include more nudity, with clones walking around nude, fighting monsters in the nude. And she didn't want to do that, so she demanded those were taken out of the movie, which I totally understand. It's like, that's completely unnecessary. The clone's gonna have some clothes on them. It's not a big deal. So yeah, that's our wonderful segment on Resident Evil Extinction that no one asked for. So there you go.
And no one will have to know about.
But Steve, you got a bit for us.
I do. So this one, I'm going to call it top 10.
All right.
And I have here 10 Milla Jovovich movies.
Oh.
And you are going to blind rank them.
Okay.
So I'm just going to name a movie, and you have to put it on the list without knowing what other movies I've included.
That are coming up next.
And
is this going to align with some other list in some sort?
No. At the end, we're going to have your forced out top 10 Milla Jovovich.
As the audience may or may not know, when I was younger, I was very obsessed with Milla Jovovich ever since The Fifth Element.
Yeah, only when he was younger.
Well, yeah. Ended a long time ago. I don't still follow her on Instagram.
I haven't thought about her in years. Okay, so top 10. I'm just going to give you movies, and you got to decide where they go.
All right, out of 10.
And you can edit the document, I think.
Oh, yes. I can do that.
And put them in.
Sounds good.
All right, ready?
Yep.
All right. The Messenger.
So this may be against most people's, but I like The Messenger. more than most, especially critics. So I'm going to put that at number 4. There we go. The Messenger.
Okay. All right. Zoolander.
Oh, well, I'm going to judge this as Milla Jovovich films. So for me, that's going in number 9 because it's a good movie, but as a film for her, featuring her, not as good.
Okay, fair.
Number 9.
A Perfect Getaway.
I've never heard of it, so I'm going number 10.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm glad I saved number 10.
All right. Dazed and Confused.
I didn't realize she was in that. Wow.
It's like one of her early things.
I'll put it 7 because probably if it was one of her earliest movies. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's a good flick.
All right. The Fifth Element.
Well, that's going number 1.
Okay. There's some other good stuff on here.
I may be, but that's my number 1 for her. It's my original.
All right. Resident Evil.
The first one.
I
think that's what cemented her as a true action star. So I'm going to go number 3 with Resident Evil.
Okay. Hellboy.
She was in Hellboy?
Yeah, the one with the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh,
she was like the main villain.
That one did not do well. I'm going to put that at number 6.
Okay. All right. Monster Hunter.
Oh, boy. It's getting worse. Why do I have a number 2 spot still open?
I don't know.
I'll put number 5 because I've never seen it.
All right. Ultraviolet.
Okay, I'm going to be safe. And I'm going to put that number 2 because I didn't mind that one.
One of the most maligned movies in modern times.
I didn't mind Ultraviolet because all Milla Jovovich the whole time.
All right, and now by default then, in the last spot goes Zoolander 2.
Perfect. I'm okay with that one. Number 8 is Zoolander 2.
All right, guys, here we have it. Jarman's definitive list of top
I'm okay
10 Milla Jovovich films. Some of these kind of go in the order you expect. Ultraviolet ended up so high on the list.
I'm okay with that one, personally.
Like above The Messenger.
The story of Joan of Arc. Oh, God.
Oh, man. But the bottom of the list feels kind of okay.
Yeah. You going to read it out?
Yeah, sure. At number 1, we have The Fifth Element, followed by Ultraviolet, Resident Evil, The Messenger, Monster Hunter, Hellboy, Dazed and Confused, Zoolander 2, Zoolander, and A Perfect Getaway, which he had never heard.
I am okay with how that turned out. I really am.
Good. Oh, my God.
Oh, man. Well, I guess that brings us to some radical recommends.
Ooh.
I recommend.
If you have the means, I highly recommend picking one up.
What do you recommend I do?
I recommend Pleasant.
All right. Well, I'm still going down my long list in an Excel file of TV shows from the past that I always wanted to watch. And I'm finally catching up on all of them. And this is a random one out of left field, but it's a show called Haven. One of those great series from the 2010s, late 2000s, that was on the Sci-Fi Channel, based off a Stephen King short story called The Colorado Kid. But it's about this town named Haven where people get these troubles, which are basically like curses that can manifest into like superpowers, but also just accidentally killing people. And they can only be controlled if that person learns what emotion they're attached to and what past trauma is bringing them up. So that way they can control them, at least so they don't kill people by accident. And it follows the town sheriff and this FBI agent who comes to town to kind of research what's going on in this town. It's mostly serious, but also some comedy thrown in, but a lot of sci-fi elements and horror. And it's just a lot of fun. Great ensemble cast. Some cameos, people you might recognize from other random sci-fi shows, but not a lot of big stars. But it went on for 5 seasons, and it's I'm on the 5th season right now, about to finish it, and it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, 2010 to 2015. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been off for a decade. Holy shit.
It's been on my Excel list of shows probably for about a decade. I've had that list, and I'm going down the list and watching everything from the past that I want to catch up on, and not watching too many new shows. Because they're all my list of things I have to watch with my wife, so I can't watch them until I watch them with her.
That's fair.
You got to find shows your spouse doesn't want to watch.
It's an important list.
Yeah, exactly. Had you ever heard of Haven before, Steve?
No, not even a little. And even looking at it, I have no
recollection.
No visual recollection. No nothing.
I think it was a Sci-Fi Channel show when they had actually good shows on Sci-Fi Channel, like expensive shows.
Oh, yeah.
But it's based off of Stephen King's short story, so it's like kind of a lesser known Stephen King thing. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a good mindless show that you can watch. It has like procedural monster of the week kind of thing, but then an overarching story that goes throughout, which is kind of neat. But yeah,
well, Ann and I just got into Yellow Jackets, so we're riding that train right now.
We love Yellow Jackets in this household. Yes.
Well, we are starting to dig it. It's been slow getting into it, but now I think we're in.
It gets more losty as it goes along. Like, what the hell is happening here? Yeah,
and that's what I like about it so far.
Exactly. Good show. That's
Everything
a good recommendation.
Seems mundane, but the picture keeps pulling out.
Exactly. The mystery box. But I guess that brings us to some trailer reviews.
All right. This week, I chose the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. The return of Adam Sandler to the titular role of Happy Gilmore, the hockey-loving, golf-playing madman.
From like 30 years ago.
From 30 years ago. So I look at this trailer and I feel like it has a different tone than what I was expecting, and not in a bad way. And even in the trailer, it sort of admits that what it was a bit problematic. Like he even says, like, I got to find a more age appropriate happy place. Like in the trailer, as he's trying to imagine, this happy place. So like even the story is admitting that it knows it doesn't work now.
That's true. And they can maybe find ways of making movies like this work in this day and age. Just learn how to update your comedy,
Now, mind you, I also didn't see nearly any like slapstick, big throws, big falls, punches. And those were some of the things that made the original so great and over the top. So it makes me worry they're not going to be in there.
That's true. They have a chance to make it a different kind of movie and make that okay. Like it aged with Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore himself. That could be okay and have some like kind of throwbacks to the old movie, but he's not that slapstick guy anymore, maybe. But then would it be crappy because of that? Possibly. It's an Adam Sandler
I do
movie.
like that we see Shooter McGavin come back.
Oh, yeah.
His nemesis. I don't know what level or role he will have in the story. We saw very little of him, but I'm glad to see he's there.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, his trainer can't be there because he passed away last year.
Oh, yeah. Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, yeah. That's too bad. And no Bob Barker either. He's gone.
Hey, we can find someone for Adam Sandler to kick the crap out of.
Yes.
Maybe Colin Jost. That'll be the new one.
That's the Jeopardy host.
Just beating up Colin Jost.
I love the first one. I watched it plenty of times. There probably was so many problematic jokes and I don't remember. But
you know what I want to see them do a sequel to is Billy Madison. I would watch the hell out of that.
That's probably coming up next. Waterboy 2, Little Nicky 2.
Yeah, man.
No one needs these things, but they're coming.
But Adam Sandler needs paychecks, apparently. He's got to be worth
Netflix money.
He's got to be worth over $100 million.
Oh, probably $350 if I had to guess.
Adam Sandler.
He's got that sweet Netflix money.
Worth. I'm going to guess 110. Wow.
What is it? Was I close?
So in 2020, he was estimated at $420 million.
I was close. I was off by like
However, at that time, he had just signed a 4-movie deal with Netflix worth $250 million.
So he could be worth almost 600
So
by
now he's probably worth $600 million.
My God. I mean, he's got to pay off some of those houses that he has probably, and he wants to buy a sports team, I would imagine.
I guess.
Oh, man. But it'll probably be, playing off nostalgia, probably a lot of cameos from random people throughout the movie.
Yeah.
All his friends will be in there.
A lot of friends. Oh, yeah.
Just not the ones that have turned into Trump lovers, but because he's not a fan of that. So that'll be a thing.
All right. So for this movie, I'm going to give it a Raul Julia is out playing golf. It's a beautiful Sunday. He got the perfect tee time. He's in his pristine pressed whites. He's got his nice bag. He got one of the good caddies. He's going to tip him well as long as he doesn't lip. And he's going up to the first tee, and he raises his thing, and out of nowhere, Gary Busey hits him with a golf cart from camera left. Raul rolls up and over. He lands comedically unharmed. Gary stops the cart and turns and says, "Did I miss tea time?" And that's what I give this movie.
Very appropriate Adam Sandler humor there.
There you go.
I give this movie, Gary finally convinced Raul to take him golfing. He knocks him over with the golf cart, like you said, because he missed tee time. But then he finally gets Gary to the tee, and he is at the tee, and all of a sudden Gary's about to tee off to drive it out as far as he can. But we hear this loud honk from a car nearby, and it scares Gary, and he goes, "Ah!" And he hits the ball, and it goes perfectly hole in one. And so Raul realizes that Gary might have this secret power. So Raul then trains Gary Busey to scare him at every hole. And whenever he does, Gary freaks out and gets PTSD from his car accident. he hits
then it's just a smash cut of Gary Busey being scared
every time hitting the ball. And he becomes a magical golf player. It's fantastic.
Just the way movies used to be.
Simple,
Simple. You just
and
scared
stupid.
a guy and he became a golf prodigy or whatever.
Or baseball or bowling or whatever. But yeah, that brings us to the end of episode 219 of A Play on Nerds. And,
join us next time. What are we doing?
We're doing Nerd Roll of Fortune, everybody. It's
Roll
coming back.
of Fortune.
Yeah.
That's right. Our AI overlords will be determining the next episode. So tune on in. Come on back for that. And to be our nerdy audience, we'll come on back and be your nerdy co-hosts. Thanks again, Internet.
Stay freaking nerdy, my friends.
Freaking nerdy. Woo!
Thanks for listening to A Play on Nerds. Feel free to email feedback at aplayonnerds.com with all your questions or comments.
Shoot us a message on Facebook or Twitter and earn yourself a sweet shout out on the show.
Review us on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts so even more nerds can find us. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, we aren't picky.
Check out our entire back catalog and other offerings at aplayonnerds.com.
And how?